Hey, I know you're really going to like this episode. We set out from Gibraltar and we head down to the Canary Islands. It's a 3 or 4 day passage, and man, are the Canary Islands cool. It's a little bit sad for us to leave the Mediterranean, but we're pretty excited to head out to the Atlantic. It's going to be a bit rough at first, and the Gibraltar Straits are pretty treacherous with currents. Obviously doing our normal checks, the motor, check the oil, check that the fuel's all clean, check that there's not crazy stuff dripping, and I do have a little bit of oil, but I do know that that's from our we did an oil change, so I'm hoping it's from that, but I'll keep an eye on that. The coolant is all good, the oil is perfect.
We should get going. What do you think about that, David?
But you'll see this in the future, so it means we'll go somewhere else.
Yeah, so it's in the future. It's future us. And we want to get going to the Canaries.
It's actually past us for you. Anyway, it's confusing time.
Confusing time for us.
This is day number 2 of our passage to the Canary Islands. We had a good sail yesterday for a lot of it, getting out of Gibraltar. How was that?
It was a great sail, and it wasn't as bad as some other stuff we've been in, but we all got sick except for Josh, and Bella and I in particular got very sick.
I had to clean up Bella vomit last night.
I threw up twice, and I still don't feel great, to be honest.
I didn't feel very good watching you throw up.
Oh, I'm hoping it will get better soon. It's supposed to usually only last the first day or so if you do get seasick. I haven't experienced it in 2 years, so it's the first for me and for Bella. Not such a nice thing. I think it's these big rolly swells, but we'll get used to it, I hope.
Night watch went fairly well. Apart from the wind dropping off, and we've had the motor going for the last sort of 6 hours. We needed to catch up some ground. We've had our friends around us all of the time, which has been really cool. We've never had that before on AIS, just to see that there's someone around. We can't see them now that the sun's starting to rise, but we can still see them on AIS, which is pretty cool. There's been a lot of ships around, dodging ships all night. It's been quite interesting.
I also had a flying fish land in my lap, which was pretty. Yeah, I just was sitting there. I was messaging some of the others on the Iridium Go, and then I heard this flap, and I was like, "What?" And then this beautiful flying fish with its wings spread out on my lap. So I gently got it and placed it back in the sea.
We're exhausted, but we're pretty excited to be here in the Atlantic Ocean.
Yes. And we're hoping to see some whales.
Yeah, some whales.
Really want to see a whale.
Might see a narwhal.
No, they're in Russia.
No, but we might. It might be a stray narwhal. You never know. Finally got enough wind to fly our genneka. We've found that she won't fly properly unless it's over about 12 knots. We're getting about 15 knots now, and we're cruising. It's fantastic. Genneka just really stabilizes us, particularly when we've got these waves on our side. It's just fantastic, leveling us out. It's going to make for a really good night's sleep. Day number 2.
Well, it's pretty boring. We have to read for a whole hour, which is even more boring.
Oh, for 1 whole hour?
Yes. Oh, horrible.
That's our school count, reading whatever book we please, but
And apparently that's really unfair to these dudes.
Right.
Caught a weird slimy fish.
Yeah.
We
It
don't
was
know
weird.
what it
It
is.
was kind. It looked like it was hello. Oh,
Hello.
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 I just woke up. And when you squeezed it kind of squeezed inward with
Yeah,
you.
it was like an old person with its skin falling off.
Oh, it was gross.
Like a pufferfish, unpuffed.
10:30 at night. What are we about to do?
Well, we've left our genneka up, and wind's got up to about 20 knots. Genneka's actually doing great.
But it's making a horrible noise.
Making a horrible noise.
The
I
spinnaker.
don't really care about that. I've just got thoughts of the genneka ripping and me trying to pull it in the middle of the night. So,
Now you're trying to pull it in the middle of the night.
yeah, but it's not ripped, so it'll be easier to do it now. And it's never cool going up the front of the boat in the middle of the night. Obviously, take all the safety precautions that you need to, but it's not a fun thing to do.
Hope it goes well, eh? Well, it's in.
Yeah, that was mental. Oh yes, I've just bought some gardening gloves. That crap, they're just slipping on it. It was really hard. It was like going to the gym about 3 times over.
I had to come to your rescue, didn't I?
Yeah, I couldn't do it. Ran out of steam. Naomi's just on night watch and she comes down screaming because there's this giant, big seabird. It's very cool. Just nestled up. Having a little nap and a bit of a rest under our spray hood. Check it out.
My biggest fear is birds, okay? I know that sounds really childish, but I'm really afraid of birds. Because when I was little, my gran took me to a bird park and we got chased by them, and I've been scared of birds ever since. I felt feathers on the side of me, and I was like, it must just be like the wind. So I continued watching my movie, and about 5 minutes ago now, I unclipped, finished my movie, put everything aside, looked at the radar, turned around, and there's this huge ass bird, like not a little sparrow bird, but like a freaking eagle bird, sitting behind me where my head would have been for the whole time in the movie. And I scream, and Mum and Dad come up running, thinking we had a flippin' container or something. And I don't know, I can't even remember the time in between, but I found myself sitting underneath that little table, just waiting for it to go away.
I think Ron might actually want to get out to the ocean. He's like, how the hell do I get out of here? I just set Captain Ron free, got the good old gloves, so didn't get pecked, and threw him overboard. And happy to report that he's all good. He looked at me and was like, thanks Josh. Thanks for the ride. And now I'm back to watching the last half of Captain Ron. Got to wake Jazz up at about 5 o'clock for her watch. Pretty keen to get some Z's myself.
You know what they say about red in the morning?
Red in the morning's good for sailors. Maybe
want
nasty
some
for shepherds, but red in the morning is like sailor's glory. Doesn't have the same poetic twist to it.
We just put the genneka up. She's going well. There she is. Good old Jenny. And what's happening in the wind? Whoa, 20 knots already. Oh, down to 15.
Jenny's handling it.
Current is 12, so that's what it feels like on the boat. In 10 miles, we will be exactly halfway, but it's been 3 days. Well, two days.
At the moment, we're averaging at about 8 knots when we're surfing down the waves. We will be there for Naomi's birthday, which will be cool, on Monday at about 4 o'clock.
What's birthday is it?
It's her sweet 16th birthday!
Why did you say
Happy birthday! Because this is my sweet 16 voice. Pretty excited about 16th birthday. 16th birthday.
No, the reality is that we'll get there in the middle of the night and
You will spend it at sea.
I'll spend my birthday at sea. My wonderful husband is trying to make sure I can sleep at night.
On boats, the way they put this joinery in, if the timber's touching, can you hear that? You just get little cracks, and it literally puts a crack in your brain and drives you mad. And so you just got to get in there with anything you can.
Have you come up with some Kiwi ingenuity?
Was your idea, wasn't it, Jazz? I was like, no, a wedge isn't going to work. Last ditch effort, I tried wedging my knife in there, and listen.
It stopped.
Oh, there was one little one, but that's
This is not.
just a little bit. It's way better. So temporary effort, and then
Not a very permanent solution there, though, Josh.
it's all right. You can't cut your toe on that.
It's like someone just threw a knife and it landed on the floor.
There's a bit of a disaster going upstairs. Our big sail ripped. I don't know the name of it. Here's what's happening.
At about 3 a.m, Naomi was on watch. Both Jez and I were asleep, and our genneka ripped again. And we were dumb enough to leave it up in 20 knots, and it went up to 25, and it just ripped right around on the bottom clew. So the good news is we retrieved it, and it is fixable. Man, was it difficult to retrieve though. You try and pull down a kite that's flying in the air that has 25 knots of wind against it. So we turned the boat up into wind just a little bit. We obviously didn't want it blowing all over the boat, and then we lowered our spinnaker, our genneka halyard, and pulled in the sheet at the back for the genneka to bring it alongside the boat until it touched the water, depowered it, and then man did we have to pull that sucker in quick, because it would have ended up underneath the boat. So the positive thing is the crew worked really well. We didn't panic. We got the sucker in, and it is fixable. We have also noticed this morning, yesterday we did a crash jibe, and I've noticed 2 cars are out. They're the little suckers that slide up and down the mast that hold our mainsail together. So we've pulled down the mainsail, because when a couple of those go, then they all can go if you get a big gust, and so that's not worth risking. It's not super expensive, but we are down to 1 sail. Our genoa is up, and we've poled it out. It's very rocky, and we're feeling a little bit deflated here on Nikau.
Again, it's just as well as happened now, not halfway across the Atlantic.
This is true. Although I can't help but think, man, if this has happened now, what's going to break then?
We're sailing with quite a few other boats, and it's really cool to be able to chat to them on VHF.
Me and Kylie both went to the toilet yesterday. A long john strap fell into the toilet, and we went on them.
Thanks, Jess, for that. Made me laugh.
All of their sails on the other boats, stuff went wrong.
And now we have
So,
a rule that you're not allowed to use the toilet seat on Pessa.
Makes you feel a little bit better.
Because we had a boat next to us that had a welcome mat, and every time she got on the pier, she'd just go immediately to it and pee on it. It was so embarrassing.
Marking the territory.
We thought, oh, if it works there, maybe we'll get one, because we couldn't get her to go on the back very well.
So it's really important that we work out our ETA, because we don't really want to come in the dark, and so we just use simple like Navi on it on an iPhone for that. Pull these little suckers to where we want to go. This is where we are planning on heading. That's 181 nautical miles away. Simple calculation. Bring up the calculator. 181 divided by the speed that we're going, which is pretty shocking, at about 4.5 knots equals 40 hours away divided by 24. That gives us 1.6 days. We're definitely
Half a day.
in the dark, right? Well, this is our last day here on the passage, and we've been trailing our two friends on New Zealand family on Bogue, and are they Irish or Scottish family on Hullabaloo is the name of their boat. Hullabaloo. And anyway, we're finally catching them up, secretly hoping to get there first, you know, bit of competitive blood. They've just radioed us and said that there's a whale up here, so we're hopefully going to check it out.
It's on the bucket list.
Been no wind for the last 24 hours, so we have been motoring. Good thing that the fuel in Gibraltar was cheap. So cool seeing a whale on Naomi's birthday. Isn't that awesome? It's her sweet 16th birthday today. I saw it on the back of the boat. It just came straight under our boat at one stage, which is a bit dodgy. I was a bit freaked out. If that thing hit the keel, it would not be good. Saw its tail disappearing underneath our boat.
And
What a cool
what sort
experience.
do we think it was? Because David's got this piece of paper here.
It was the minke whale. It sounds adorable, of course.
We think it was a minke whale. It had that fin on the top, and that says they live alone.
It's about the same size.
And it's hard to spot, doesn't surface very often.
Pretty close to our destination. 2 hours to go, and we finally caught up with our friends after our big ordeal with the genneka. And we're gonna go either try and get a place in a marina because it's Naomi's birthday. I'd like to take her out for dinner, or there's a little bay down the bottom end of this island. Just gonna go wave to Bogue as we cruise past.
We made it to the Canary Islands and we are stoked. In just over 4 days, we are here. We've only got one sail working out of our 3, but we're in one piece. We survived. It was relatively peaceful, and we're stoked to be here. We're 600 miles. It's the furthest we've ever gone on Nikau, and these islands look awesome.
Josh, we made it!
Yes!
In the anchorage with like 20 other boats.
Totally, we snuck into a real cool spot.
This is our mini ark.
Joe.
Cheers!
We made it.
Boeg, Hullabaloo and Nikau. We all left at the same time, and we all arrived at the same time.
Travelled a couple of kilometres up the coast in the dinghy to this insanely beautiful little town, and just had some incredible food. The tapas were some of the best that we've had. This island is just majestic.